So, some of you may know I'm a mental health campaigner, and I do a lot of talks within the media. So, I've been on Channel 4 and Channel 5 News, but for me, it doesn't make it any easier to talk about mental health. People say I'm brave for going on TV and talking about my mental health problems, but they don't understand what actually goes on in my head to actually do that. I think many people, just like all of us, we share our mental health problems without thinking about ourselves. We share them to help others, and it has a massive impact on us. I'm starting to become a counsellor. I'm going back to college in September, and it's going to be a really hard 4 years. But I'm doing it to help others, but I'm also doing it to help myself. And I'm not gonna lie, I had done my level 1 counselling and things went pear-shaped. I felt more suicidal than ever before, and obviously people around me could see that too. So I got kicked out basically with no support. I felt like I'd done something wrong, and I think that's where the education system falls apart. When I first was in college, when my best friend took his own life, like I say in the post, I flipped chairs, I flipped tables, I smashed computer screens, and luckily I didn't have to pay for any of it. But I was seen as sort of like a burden and a problem, and I think that's sort of where everything goes wrong. Even in society, we're seen as crazy or incapable. I was fired from a job a while back. I'm not gonna say where. Due to disclosing to my boss I had depression, and it shouldn't be like that. And I've always been too scared since to go back into employment. I feel I am going to get judged, and I'm scared that when I need a day off, will they ever give me that day off? Will they see me as sort of oh, he's just lazy, or something like that? And I think that's what really upsets me, and it makes me scared in somewhat sense. But yeah, it's awful, and I don't even know why I'm making this video. I just felt like it, and these next 2 weeks are gonna be really, really hard. I managed to get myself out of bed today, and that's great. But there's days when I physically can't. My counsellor said to me on Tuesday. Well, I said to him actually. I said I don't want to come in on the 14th. I don't want to see you on the 14th. And he was like, well, I know what you're like. You only push people away that care about you, and that's true. And I think that is what many of us do. We don't want to be that burden, but we're not a burden. People just want to look out for us, but that's what we feel like. So yeah, I'm going to counselling on Monday, and I honestly just wanted to spend my whole day in London, but I've got to talk about it at some point. It's the most hardest thing I'd ever talk about, and something I still don't really understand. I was only 20 at the time, no 20. Oh, sorry, I was only 17 at the time, and like 3 years later, I still don't get it. And people say you don't get it, but it's like you want to know, and I have so many unanswered questions that will never be answered, and it's always that nagging pain at the back of my mind. I don't want this video to be like a lot detailed and triggering or anything, but I have to keep saying to myself, like, Jacob, your best friend, shot himself. Like, he was a farmer's son. That's where he got where he got the gun to kill himself. And to this day, I just don't get it. I really don't. And for me, it just goes through in my head. And there's better days, and there's really bad days. And there's really, really bad days. And I feel I'm having more really, really bad days. But I guess I've just got to accept the fact that the anniversary's coming up. I do so much, like, work and with charities like Young Minds and Time to Change and The Mix. And it's being with, like, people that understand me, like this group that we have together, is the most, like, rewarding and comforting thing you'd ever experience. Being with people who actually understand what the heck you're on about. There's so many people out there, like, including my parents, they don't get it. Like, I've been called lazy, I've been told to go outside. I've been told it's just a phase. And, like, the recent things with my gender, coming out as transgender to them, has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It's like they see being transgender as a choice and not something that is me. And whether they're embarrassed by me, I don't know. I've had journalists right here at this table, like, talking to them at home. And it's like they're embarrassed by their own child to talk about such big issues within the media. I've never had, I'm proud of you. I've never had just a simple well done or a hug. And it just makes me so angry. But I guess I'm just making this video to say that whoever you are and whatever you're going through, just please talk. Like, to anyone. Like, I may seem that I can talk about so much stuff in great detail, but it's so different from typing on a computer, hiding behind a computer screen, to actually talking about it. I just count myself incredibly lucky. I had 6 referrals to the mental health team, and they all went pear-shaped, referred back to my GP. And I was on the point that I just didn't want to live. I didn't see the point. Like, all my friends were, like, doing well with college and just thinking about university, while I was just sat there confused about life and what the heck I was doing with it. I was studying media and I really wanted to be a radio presenter, and I was like, I knew that was not going to happen. And after 2 years of studying, I thought, I can't do this. it's just you guys that keep me going, and you guys in the support group, and all the people I volunteer with, and all the people on Twitter. It's not my friends, it's not my family, it's the people. You've got to create your own family. And that's sad. Like, I'm 20 now, and I wish my parents were more open to talking about mental health, but they're not. So I've had to find other ways around it, and that's something I'm not accepting at all. I always think maybe one day they will come round. Anyway, this video is like 11 minutes now. It's crazy. But yeah, I just want people to talk before it's too late. I have so many people reach out to me when they're in distress, and I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not a trained counsellor yet. Sometimes I'm not in the right mindset, and I think people with mental illness, we tend to want to help others, but we're not in a good place ourselves, and I think that is what sends us down that spiral even more. But anyway, yeah, like, you're never alone, so just talk.